guys, we're back in the kitchen here at Becca's by the Bay. Welcome, I'm Becca. So we are on to our next soap from the Ultimate Guide to Liquid Soap Making by Ashley Green. And we're searching each recipe as we do them to figure out which one is my favorite. Because I forgot to write down which one that was. She has a wealth of information on her YouTube channel and on her book. I will put the links down below. This is a copyrighted recipe, so I will not be sharing exact measurements, but I will let you know that this is, I'm making a small batch recipe, and the oils used in this one are the Apricot Kernal Oil, Castor Oil, Coconut Oil, and Olive Oil Pomace. So it is a 4-oil soap recipe, and we'll see how this one goes. And I'll show you along the way as we do it. I do have a few additives to her recipe. So we're going to have our safety goggles and gloves on. I've got my oils melted and heated up on high on my little crock pot. We're almost there. We're like 100 something. It'll take a little bit longer. I really want to be around the 200-degree range. Seems to go quicker that way. I will be adding glycerin as part of my water. I will be adding goat milk concentrate powdered, and I added it to part of my water. That will be at the end of the cook. I have my sea salt, cane sugar, citric acid, borax, and with part of my water here, and some warm water. I have Xanthan Gum as a thickener. I'm going to add some water to that towards the end as well. And we're just waiting for this to heat up. So this soap has, I made this soap before and I really liked it. I love the bubbles. My notes here said that I used sodium lactate instead of salt. And I had noticed that the sodium lactate made a thinner soap, and I didn't like it that thin. I'm looking for something that's more of like a thick body shower gel wash type of soap. So I haven't made this one with the salt versus the sodium lactate, so I'm excited to see how that comes out today. And it is a dual lye soap, so we are using NaOH, which is your sodium hydroxide. This makes your bar soaps. And then we are using our KOH as well. This is your potassium hydroxide. This makes your liquid soap. And the combination thereof in different combinations will make a thicker or thinner soap. So, again, I can't give exact measurements to her recipe, but I can show you a little bit of the process. Here's our glycerin, and I'm going to slowly add my KOH, no, NaOH, and NaOH in here first. And I've got my scale chart out, and I am just slowly adding the amount, because this is a small recipe, so I'm trying to that one. I'm going to stir that in. If you've watched the last video in this series, when you add it to the glycerin, you don't get the bubbling action that you would say you just added it to just water. And you can add a little bit of water to it, because I think that does help with the dissolving. Add a little bit of my water there. Now, normally you only add your lye to your water or to your glycerin. You don't do it the other way around. So we added our lye. Now we're going to add our KOH, which is our liquid lye soap maker. It is, tar this out again. And if you need to add it slower, add it slower. I think we're doing okay here. Let's check. Looks pretty good. Okay, that'll do it. So we're just gonna slowly stir it and dissolve it in. Most of our recipes take just a half an hour to get start to finish cooking and pH neutral. Probably another half an hour to get it to be fully diluted, and then up to 72 hours to a week of letting it settle. So if you watched me earlier or in the previous video, this is the Canadian maple. This one is actually still settling. I'm going to shake it again. So when you shake it, it will, this was a day old. This one is the previous one I did, and it's still sequestering and clearing up. But this one will look a little bit more like this. This one's a little watery. The Canadian maple is a nice thicker one. I would say this would be a really good one for like a body wash or shower gel. So we're waiting to see how that one looks tomorrow. And eventually I'll do a video that compares all of the ones that I did. And we'll do like a bubble test and see how that comes out. 150. We're getting there. I'm on high. Try to have this as close as possible. So I haven't given out any of the measurements. I'm just going to kind of give you a ratio on this one. She's using 30% NaOH and 70% KOH. Hopefully that's okay. There's so many variants to making liquid soap making. She has just a wealth of knowledge, chemistry background, and all that. Her book is really worth it. I'm not sponsored in any way. I just really liked her recipes, and I wanted to have a record of what they look like. So I knew which one I liked better. Plus the ones that I created. So I created my own based in her book. Pour in my glycerin lye water. Make sure it's all dissolved. Set that aside. That should have heated my oils up a little bit more. We're at like 172. So I went from about 150 to 172 just by adding my lye water. And give it a good stirry stir. Again, this is a really small batch. Each batch seems to be making about 26 ounces of liquid soap, which fits in a 32-ounce mason jar. So I think it's a good size recipe. I'm doing an 8-ounce recipe. I'm going to go on low. Since this is such a low amount of oils, there might be some splashbacks, so you want to be careful and have your protective gear on. sink nearby, soap and water and vinegar. I do recommend running all of her recipes through a soap calculator. The one I like to use, especially for a dual lye, is called Soapee, SOAPEE.com, and you're able to save your recipe there as well and be able to print it out later. So what we're trying to do is bring this to a light emulsification, and that'll happen when it's just ready to do it. Right now the oils are still kind of free floating, which means that they have not emulsified yet. You want to try and give your stick blender a little bit of a break and do a little hand stirring. That way you don't burn the motor out. Her recipes don't need a ton of stick blending, which is really nice compared to some of the older fashioned recipes that we have seen on YouTube and other people have shared, where you're just burning out your stick blender making liquid soaps. So just give it a little bit of time and it will get there. We're at 155. It's not super hot, so it probably needs to heat up a little bit more. Shoot, I started this 12 minutes ago. Okay, so about 12:40. So about 10 past 1, we should be done cooking this. And then by about 1:40, I should be done with the cook and the dilution. So we'll see how that goes. I know I've got an appointment I need to get to today. And so we're going to try and get this one done before that, hopefully. Not there yet. Just scrape down my sides. Cover back on. We're at 165, so we're heating up. 200 is the magic number. We want to get to 200. a note. I've got my 6 ounces set aside for dilution and mixing into my Xanthan Gum. If you're looking for a good price on Xanthan Gum, Crafter's Choice with Wholesale Supplies Plus Company has a really good price. Last time I bought it, it was on, I don't know if it was on sale or not, but I got it for under $14 for a pound, which I thought was really reasonable compared to the price of things going up. I'm not sure what it is right now. We're getting there. We're at 180. My phone making notifications. It's kind of like a light applesauce texture right now. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try blending this and see if I can get it to emulsify a little bit. Show you it's emulsified a little bit, and then it immediately went to kind of an applesauce stage. So the oils came together and went back to applesauce stage. So we're cooking it through now to the next phase, which is mashed potatoes. Put my cover back on. It seems to help it go a little quicker. We're at 185 on our temperature. And we probably have about another 15 minutes into the cook until we start diluting it. Make sure you keep your crock pot on high the whole time. And I'll let you know when a good time to turn it down to low or turn it off would be. And a good time, I'll show you when we'll be checking our pH with our pH indicator strips. I believe I got these off of Amazon or eBay, whichever was a better price. Universal indicator. And we are looking for a pH of 7 or less. So you definitely want it at 7. That's when the lye is finished cooking all of the oils and has become soap. And then as it sequesters over the next week, pH could possibly change down towards a 6. So we can check that later on. But all of the ones that I did today and yesterday were at least pH of 7 or like 6.5. Fruit fly in here. Always use distilled water. I don't know if I mentioned that in this video. You could try using spring water, but it does have some minerals in it. It is best to, go out and purchase distilled water if you can in your area. It just gives you a pure soap without any added minerals or other deposits of things. So best to, if you can find a baby distilled water, they have a distilled baby water, I think, as well. In them, if you're not finding it in your regular water section at your supermarket. Grabbing a quick drink. Pretty warm in here. I did turn the AC down. And I do enjoy making my hot process soaps more in the fall. But I have somebody looking for a specific recipe, and I'm gonna try out every single one because I honestly don't remember which one it was, even though I thought I took good notes. Just a reminder, always take extra notes and then save it. My husband distracts me a lot whenever we're doing anything or I'm doing something, and then he's like, Becca, come look at this, or Becca, come help me with that, or we got this to do, or we got that to do, and then I've already forgotten what I was working on or what I was doing, or so he knows not to bug me while I'm making this series of videos because I want to be accurate. It's very sweet. We have been very busy lately, and I'm trying to follow up with my doctors and all that, so hopefully everything, my results come out good today. Haven't quite had the energy I normally have. So, done a lot of behind the scenes action. If anyone is following me on Instagram, that's kind of usually where I post what I'm up to the most. And I haven't made as many videos over the last year or two, I think, on YouTube, just in part because we were busy and I just didn't have the energy to go live or to record. And I apologize if I've been a little MIA, but I felt like I just needed to do whatever I was doing for the shop on Etsy behind the scenes and feel peaceful about it, not feel stressed about, I need to make a video. So I appreciate everybody's feedback and comments on Instagram. It's really fun to follow everybody along in their daily lives and what's going on with their kiddos and family or their gardens. It's really, really enjoyable. I do enjoy being on Instagram. Out of all the social media that we have, I would say Instagram is probably my favorite feed of the day with my coffee and kind of popping in and seeing how people are doing or what they're enjoying. We try to post positive things about our garden or stuff we're working on or making. Got a little bit of new decor happening in the kitchen. We had Cut a Squad on YouTube. He's a lawn care guy too, and he's always talking about the grind don't stop. And there's another couple too out in Arizona. I can't think of their names right now. They're the ones building the mud huts and the huge, large rain catchment. They're called Green Dream project. They're an awesome couple, and they are always working their booty off. And the grind don't stop for them either. They are working in Arizona in the desert, and they are doing it all by hand, manually, and it is just an awesome feat to watch. So all the cob houses and huge rain catchment that they have going on there, I love watching the whole process. They are a cool couple. Shoo, fly, shoo. So we are back to kind of like a separated applesauce. So this is where I'm going to start stick blending again to bring it back together. See? Catch the mashed potato phase before it turns back to applesauce. So it will hit like this creamy, mashed potato-y, liquidy mashed potato stage. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. There we go. So that is just before we hit either, sometimes it'll separate back into like an applesauce phase, but from here it will go to a gel phase, which looks more like Vaseline. So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for Vaseline. We're at 202 degrees. Woohoo! So we are there with that. Heat this up. I'm gonna add some of my reserve water to my Xanthan Gum. Whisk that up. I ended up having to add the whole thing. There we go. There's our reserve distilled water. There's Xanthan Gum. If it's a little bit clumpy, you're gonna stick blend that through once you mix it in, and you won't have any clumps. So don't worry about it. Just whisk it best as you can. So here is our soap turning to that Vaseline stage. It'll get glossy and almost see-through. Really cool to watch. Ooh, I did get myself. Got that off of me. One splatter on me. So it's a lot easier to splatter yourself when it's a smaller batch. So be careful. I got my inside arm. I felt it hit it. So there we are. There's the Vaseline stage. I'm going to add xanthan to this. And we're just going to give it a good stir. If I need to, I will stick blend it, which I probably will in about a minute. So I'm going to add my, let me see, heat it up a little bit more. My sugar and, yeah. Yep. This is all dissolved. This is our sugar, our salt, our citric acid, and our boric acid. Oops, uh-oh. That's not good. Alright. Whoops. Alright, I grabbed it. Apparently that spatula's been through enough abuse. Oh, alrighty. They don't all last. Alright, I'll scrape you off. We've been through a lot. Oh, dang. Hot, you know. Hot. Oh, gosh, it's so slippery. Alright, huh? Oh boy. I'll toss you. Garbage. Here we go. Here is our salt, sugar, borax water. Ooh, doggy, that's hot. Great. So you can see we've got our paste going on in here. I'm trying to just get it mixed in. So that was my 6 ounces. I might need to add a little bit more water. I always hesitate to add it right away. So we're gonna get 2 ounces going. And you always want to add hot water to it. Here we are, mixing it up, diluting it down. I do think it needs at least a couple more ounces. This one I think is a lot better than the last one. It's not as rock hard. Hot enough? Yeah, okay. I couldn't see if it was hot enough. So I added an extra 2 ounces in. I'm going to stir that around. Might need a little bit more than that. So that was 8 ounces. Keeping track. Add an ounce of rubbing alcohol. That's what I want to do. If you want your paste to break up quicker, either grab 71% or 91% is even better of rubbing alcohol. It will cook off, but it will help dissolve the paste. help dissolve that. It will help break this, what we have some paste chunks in here, and that will help break that down to dissolve faster. And you don't have to worry about alcohol being in your final product because it will cook off and it won't be there. But it will help loosen this up, and so you can stir it. I'm going to probably try stick blending it right now so it's a little smoother. That was one of the tricks I learned. Trick of the trade. There we go. Oh, I'm not plugged in. Alrighty. Here we So I don't want to overblend it. This seems to be working a lot better than the last recipe. The last recipe got stuck in my stick blender as a hard soap paste, so I like this one better already just to work with. Now, here's the thing too, is if you've got some bubbles happening at the top, you can get your rubbing alcohol and hit them and slowly stir them down. That will help them go down a lot quicker than trying to wait for the foam to defoam itself. This will speed up your process a little bit. So we're at least a half hour into the cook. Just grab a paper. Pretty sure we're done cooking with the lye, but let's give it a check. Make sure everything's kind of stirred in really good. Don't see a whole lot of chunks happening, which is really good. You don't want like there's a little bit of tiny chunk paste that will keep dissolving. I'm gonna say we probably don't need much more water than what we have going on in here, so I'm gonna give it a dunk. And there you have it. We are at 7. We're at neutral, so we're fully cooked. We've got soap. Yay! And I would say the last 10 minutes I am going to, where am I at? So it's calmed down. When the lye has finished cooking, you're going to see a big temperature drop. So we were over 200 a little bit. Now we're down to 145, 140, which means the lye is now finished cooking. And we're just diluting this. And you can put it on low for the next half an hour. That usually helps. You can shut it off completely. Usually around under 140, more like closer to 120 is when you want to really add your milk and let it cook for about 10 minutes. So try not to make these videos too long for y'all or myself. So I'm actually going to add my goat milk now. I did shut my crock pot off. I'm going to make sure that this gets cooked for a good 10 minutes. And that should have dropped down our temperature a little bit as well. So we're down to like 135. Glasses aren't clear, so clear glass. I did find a jar. Get it cleaned out. This one had soap in it. So, refilled a couple of jars. I'm running low on my canning supplies because I've been canning stuff up in the garden. So we're just going to use some rubbing alcohol to disinfect this with. I've already washed it, but you can let that drain out a little bit there. And see how we are doing over here with our soap. It's forming a little bit of a creamy paste along the side, which is an indication that it needs more water. So I'm going to probably add another ounce. As it starts to cool down, you do have some evaporation happening, so sometimes you need to add a little bit more water. More water. So here's another extra ounce. Swirl that in. So here's kind of the creamy paste that's happening here. That means it needs a little bit more water. See if we can get it so it's not doing it. Now you do want to add a preservative to your soap. It is mostly water, so please do some research on that. I like to use Germall Plus. There's a few other water-based ones that you can use. I like to order mine from Wholesale Supplies Plus. Get those done. Now mine are going to be a little bit milkier than the original recipe because I've added milk to mine, and I'm okay with mine being more of a creamier. Mine are never going to be clear because I usually almost always add milk to mine. So it would be fun to do an experiment where I don't add milk and see how they are. But I'm gonna do all of them with the same additives. That way I can get a good feel for which one I like better and how they all look and perform with their bubbles and things like that. So I would say this looks really done. You can let the whole thing cool overnight. I'm just going to show you guys. I can give it a pour. Show you guys what it looks like. Ooh, that's hotter than I thought. Definitely need pot holders. I don't recommend doing it without pot holders just because you probably will feel the heat more than me. I've got some damage to my hand, so I don't quite feel it right away. And I should know better. Yeah, I should. 4 ounces right now. So, let's see, I'm looking for tissue. 25, so I probably could use a little bit more water. 25. Just gonna make it even. Making them all 26 ounces, so we're gonna go with 26 ounces. Put my cover on loosely so that heat can escape. I'm gonna label this one Apricot Olive. And today's date is 8/12/21. Make sure you let yourself know it's soap. I have lots of things labeled around here. So I'm going to show you, here's what this looks like. It is going to sequester over the next 72 hours. Like I said, here's the one I did a whole day ago. Here's the one I just made. And this is still going to settle down. You can give it like a shake every now and then. This is the one I made earlier. It's still sequestering. So I'm just going to every now and then give it a shake. This one's probably going to be a nice creamy liquid soap. That was our Canadian maple. And this is our apricot olive. So once this fully cools down, and this one almost room temperature from this morning, I will add 1% preservative to this, give it a good shaky shake, and then put it somewhere dark and just let it just set for like the next 72 hours and then come check on it. So that's what we're going to do. I think there's a few soapy bits in there. I did add a little bit of extra water, so let's give it a good shake. And then it will, again, crack it so that it can let some of the heat escape. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me in my kitchen here at Becca's by the Bay, Mermaid Homestead. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I will be doing a whole series on her liquid soap recipes. I will put links down below to her website and her channel, Ashley Green, and the ultimate guide to liquid soap making. Some of the recipes will be mine, and I will be posting recipes that I have created for you to try out. If you like or are interested in her recipes, they are copyrighted, so if you would like to support her and purchase her book, I am in no way affiliated or supported by her. I just think it is a wealth of information, and I would like to share kind of the process of making her soaps. That way y'all get to see, you know, somebody else making them, and is it something that you would like to make too? Really quick and easy. I mean, you will have beautiful soap in an hour or in a day, or you know, this is ready to go and put into your pump jars that you have by your sink or your bathrooms. So thanks again for hanging out with me. We will see you guys in the next video, and have a great day.